presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. sat down for an interview on fake news CNN and had a pretty clear message that Joe Biden is a danger to our democracy. Take a look.
That when people talk about the threat to democracy that Trump poses, do you really think that that is an equal evil to Biden?
I mean, listen, I can make the argument that President Biden is a much worse threat to democracy. And the reason for that is President Biden is the first candidate in history, the first president in history that has used the federal agencies to censor political speech, so to censor his opponent. I can say that because I just won a case in the Federal Court of Appeals and now before the Supreme Court. It shows that he started censoring not just me. 37 hours after he took the oath of office, he was censoring me. No president in the country has ever done that. The greatest threat to democracy is not somebody who questions election returns, but a president of the United States who used the power of his office to force the social media companies, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, to open a portal and give access to that portal to the FBI, to the CIA, to the IRS, to CISA, to NIH, to censor his political critics.
All right, now the left, of course, they're not at all happy with that comment. They bet everything on the absurd lie that Donald Trump is the biggest threat to democracy. Get ready. That's all you hear for 216 days. And they'll demagogue abortion, and they'll talk about January 6th, everything but Biden's record. But remember that they are the party. They would like to eliminate candidates from the ballot, just empowering one elected official. They're the ones involved in the weaponization of our Justice Department and unequal justice under the law. So with RFK Jr. threatening the left's narrative, well, the ladies of The View, they were not happy. The hard-hitting news show, they struck back. Take a look.
Where's he been?
Silence his opponent.
You think he would know history since
Well, one would think, you would think, but go ahead.
Does he realize, first of all, he's a threat, I think, more to Biden, just because of his name. Yeah. That people out there, they're not really looking into things. I think they think, oh, Kennedy, Democrat, yeah, I'll vote for him. Yeah. Even meanwhile, he's a conspiracy theorist. He's anti-science. His whole family is voting for Biden.
Yeah.
And this type of dangerous rhetoric that Biden is a bigger threat to democracy than the man who wanted to throw over the government.
Here with reaction, former White House Chief of Staff Reince Priebus and former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee is with us. Reince, let me start with you today. Let's get your reaction to this. When you really think about it, if we're going to talk about a threat to democracy, wouldn't that be one elected official deciding that they're not going to allow a presidential candidate on the ballot, or the weaponization of our Justice Department, which we have chronicled pretty much daily in terms of the Biden Justice Department?
Well, not just that, Sean, but you've got 87,000 IRS agents. Remember that one? And he's sending them all over the country, not to mention the unsecure border, not to mention the lawlessness around the country. As hard as the media tries this narrative against President Trump that, he's a threat to democracy, every single poll, actually, as hard as they push that, shows that they're tied on this question, even though that's all the Democrats are talking about. Here's the other part. If you saw JFK Jr. there, RFK Jr., he said that Biden went after him, but what he's really saying is he's taking it personally. He's taking this personally. He is going after Joe Biden. And you know what? It's the perfect target because 75% of Democrats say they don't want Joe Biden as a choice. Only 25% of the public think that this country is on the right track. So what happens? People go to the polls and they've got other choices. They've got Cornel West, they've got Stein, and they've got RFK Jr. So they're going to go after those other choices because they don't like their choice. Last thing, this isn't fantasy land. The DNC and the Joe Biden campaign have put together what they call the third-party desk, meaning strategies that they're putting in place right now to try to combat this third-party threat. It is a threat. It's a threat because people do see this as a threat, as Biden as a threat to democracy. But more importantly, they don't like the choice of Joe Biden, and they're going to have plenty of choices on the ballot in Michigan, in Wisconsin, in Pennsylvania, and everywhere else. So this is coming, and it's personal for RFK Jr.
I want to pick up on the personal side of this, Governor Huckabee. I really can't blame RFK Jr. He's a lifelong Democrat. He supported Obama and Biden. He supported every Democratic candidate. Does he break ranks on a couple of issues? Yeah, but he's pretty hardcore, solid left. But they have now set up a war room to destroy him. Republicans haven't set that up. That is his fellow Democrats that have set that up. If I was him, I would take that personally. I don't blame him one bit.
I'm not even running for president this time, and I take it personally. I take it personally that they keep talking about Donald Trump being a threat to democracy. Sean, the truth is Donald Trump is democracy, because democracy is about having people with the power of free speech. If you go back and read all of the Bill of Rights, all 10 of them, there's not one of them in which the government gets to restrict the rights of the people. Every single one of them tells the government what it cannot do to the people. Donald Trump gets that. Joe Biden does not. And when RFK dropped that truth bomb on CNN, I have it on good authority that they couldn't find enough mops and brooms to clean up the floor because everyone in that building was soiling themselves when they heard Robert F. Kennedy Jr. say that Joe Biden was a bigger threat to democracy than Donald Trump. They're not supposed to let that go on what MSNBC would call their sacred air. But I think Americans are clued in on this. RFK Jr. really delivered a powerful message. And one of the things I respect about him, disagree on a lot of issues, but he's not a kook. He's a very intelligent man. And most of all, I think he is seeing what's happened to our government. And what's happened is that you have a president of the United States who is using all the powers of federal agencies to destroy his political opponents. Because when you can't beat somebody at the ballot box, what do? You try to beat him in a courtroom, you try to beat him in the media, and it's really a true threat to democracy.
Really amazing times we're living in. Well said, both of you. Governor, thank you. Reince, thank you.